Greetings, loved ones.
Hello, hello.
Hope everyone's doing fantastical. So there's been a little bit of energy surrounding this particular topic this evening. This is something that we've been kind of conscious of for a while now. We've been thinking, how do we, ultimately transcend what we learn here in our lifetime, and how do we start passing it on now? That's ultimately where we're heading with this, because, at the end of the day, we know who we are and what we're here to do. But you know what? The little ones don't. They might have a sniff of this, but they need a little push. They need a little help. They need a little direction from mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, et cetera, et cetera. As this thing unfolds, we're going to start to really get a good understanding of how important the youngsters are. I mean, many of us know that. That should go without saying, but you know what? We're about to take it to a whole other level, because this is something that, again, I've been thinking of. I've been aware of this for a number of years, a long time. As a matter of fact, probably goes back to when I was a youngster, because I'd be thinking, well, if I was my dad, this is how I had those types of scenarios running through my head, and I would just push them out of the way. I didn't think that they were going to prove to be of any value, but here we are. And now I'm looking at something thinking, wow, you know what? Not only does this have value, this is going to be invaluable when we're done with it, because we have to do this. We go online, we see a lot of other individuals and loved ones out there that are ready for things like this and are probably actually desperate for it, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of, I don't want to say breakdown, because that's just kind of a negative word, but there's a lot of, again, a misapplication of energy. And through what we're going to talk about here in just a moment, we're going to start to see how we can redirect our energy, or direct it properly the first time without needing to redirect it.
And you're going to notice, because I did, when I actually took courses on what starseeds are, the word I just came alive, and learning about, I couldn't write notes fast enough. And I pursued it. As any time someone online was teaching courses, I just went and I absorbed it. I couldn't get enough. And then when I started talking about it to my clients, or started applying it to these crystal children, I was blown away. And I look forward to sharing my experiences with you as far as how I worked with these young ones and their vast knowledge that they have. The authority and the knowing is profound, but we have to give them the space for that. And we have to realize the magnificent beings that we call children. So we have indigo, crystal, and rainbow children. So we are going to be learning about these unique and profound crystal children. And we are happy to bring this into, like Darren said, into light, because the starseeds are the light of the garden. They are here to help us find our way home. And if this is resonating with you on some level, there's starseed energy running through you. You're meant to learn about it. You're meant to teach it. You're meant to understand it. When I first learned what kind of a starseed I was, it was like learning about my astrology sign. No kidding. I looked out, it was like finally someone was talking about me. Someone understood me because of this title, but this title I resonated with. So we have some beautiful, happy faces in our family. It's wonderful to see you all again. Thank you for joining us. You're going to learn a ton. We actually had to remove the meditation portion from this course because of how much came in about the starseeds. I could feel it all week as I channeled it, just the amount of information that was coming in, how much needed to come in for parents to realize their children and their abilities and to give them tools, because they're here to help us find our way home. Wow.
How's that?
Wow. I'm sitting here just like fully aware they don't want this coming in. No kidding. We've had this for a little bit. Is it still breaky? Because we have to work on the, okay. Send us your wings, loved ones, so we can bring this energy in, because it's that valuable. when the earth grid starts connecting to our star seeds and realizing the magnificent beings, like we keep saying that they are, and it's no different than equity, we start subrogating what we thought, how we were raised, what we learned as a kid, and start realizing we need to do everything different. If we're supposed to unlearn everything when it comes to what we've been taught, would that not include your parenting and how we were raised? So when we got to take everything that we were and flip it. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I'm like, yes. Because literally, if I just got everything completely opposite and had these skills and were taught these lessons and these superpowers we're speaking of, about my wings when I was little. Oh. So let's get into this. I got to give credit to Elizabeth April. Girl, she is a magnificent teacher of Starsëëd. You can follow her on Facebook. She's a beautiful being inside and out. Elizabeth April, April. And I took a class with her as well as Doreen Virtue. She, irrelevant of people's opinion of her, when I learned from her, that woman was dialed. She was exactly who I needed her to be, because this is where I first learned this. So I'm going to give credit to my teachers. Then I spent a week with Spirit on this. Wow. There's not too much. I don't know about a starseed now, and that I've been teaching this one. It's fantastic to learn about them. And you know what? You're going to start learning about yourself in this. Because what is a starseed? A starseed is someone who just doesn't fit into the mold of normality, of society. The earth is about to undergo a new wave of energy. We know this. There's a new dimension we're meant to go into, a higher plane of existence, of spirituality, of awareness. And the star children play a huge part in this. They're coming in collectively. They're an energetic shift for our world. And our star children, they're cosmic souls. Feel that. Cosmic souls. Most of you were sent here from all areas of the universe. You agreed for a special assignment to assist the rebirth of our earth, the ascension, the biggest jump that we needed to make vibrationally. And they're higher, more advanced beings. As we bring children into the world, they're more advanced. They need to be. A soul's not going to come in who is of a Neanderthal ability. That does not serve our collective. We need higher, more advanced beings always coming in. That's the key to us growing and learning by always looking back. That's what we're learning in all of this. And our little ones, these starseeds among you, you possess psychic and spiritual extraordinary abilities. You're starting to learn about them. These are called your wings. And these starseeds, they're the bringers of peace. They're meant to disrupt the system. That's why they don't form into it. They're programmed different. They're meant to be now and in the future, because they're going to hold that space. And they come with memories of heaven, of home, their past lives. Our little ones, if you create a space for them, they will just tell you stories forever. And you think, wow, what a little imagination you have. No, they're actually like, so this happened, and then that happened. And any resource they need, they just ask their angel that's standing right there. That's the beauty of them, these little ones. And we talk about veils being lifted. As parents, how many did we put on our kids? I'm talking to my imaginary friend. Imaginary friends don't exist, Susie. I'm talking to my angel. We don't do that here. We don't believe in that. Do you see how all of a sudden, in goes the program? So they came in with different programming. When we talk about astrology and how it matters where the moon and the sun and what house you're in, these ones came in with completely different wiring. They're not like the rest. They're unique. They're resistant to the 3D viruses of conformity. That's why we don't like authority. So they're elevated beings. Why? Because they came in with more crystalline light in their bodies. The younger the children, the more crystalline light they have in their body. They're lighter. They're more open. They can feel more. They are more in touch. They have more abilities. The heavier we are, the denser, the more 3D, the less we can connect, the more sludge in our cup. They have little no sludge. That's what's beautiful about these ones. They're like sludge resistant. It's amazing. But here's the problem. They're such beautiful beings. And they love and they feel so much. When they feel someone who's not in alignment, they have the ability to go and take that from you. So we have a whole bunch of crystals going along, collecting energy from older beings, then coming home, not knowing what to do with it, what's theirs. They're all jacked up. And we're like, settle down, settle down. Take this pill if you don't. And here's the thing, they chose specific parents to come into this world to. Parents that they knew would eventually come online or that were meant to. The odds were in their favor to come online, to have natural spiritual ability so that they could be born into an atmosphere where they were going to, that's the word I'm looking for, be nurtured, developed. We have to create environments where they can flourish. There's the word I was looking for. Where they can activate, come online, not have parents doing things to their bodies while they're growing in them to rewire them before they even get here. Where we lose them altogether. They're not talking about this online, but there's a lot of mothers that lost their babies because of decisions that they made. Because mama made an out of a line decision based on where she was vibrationally and now has to live with that. But that mother provided a space for us to see what that feels like so that we can make wiser decisions, all by design. So here's the problem. We have these beautiful crystalline light beings that we are stuffing inside of a 3D meat suit. They're not used to Earth. They come from galaxies we don't even know about. They're not used to even being here. Never mind the density and the thickness and the heaviness that they have to experience. But they're such elevated beings. They agreed to come here and come into this Earth school to try and jumpstart us, help us remember. But we have a system that doesn't know how to deal with them. So what do? They diagnose them with special needs. Special ed. Asperger's, autism, ADD, AHDD, OCD. You want to talk titles. I'll break that down a little bit later on what that really means. But it's because these little ones, they can't stay present. It's why they're normally not very good at school. They're bored. Their brains don't work the same way. We got school systems and education that's all about trying to brainwash them, and they can't relate to it. They're not designed to. Our schools don't know how to teach them. So we have children attending schools that are completely void of their creative environment, which they are designed for, with zero spirituality built in. And then they go back to homes where they lack sufficient time and attention from their parents, if they even have parents at all. And the ones that the parents they do go home to, some of them, they don't have the tools. They're barely keeping their meat suit together. So what do? Pop this pill. Well, usually mom's popping a pill. And the elites go, yes, very good, carry on. You can see why this is coming through now, where starseeds who are in these situations, and I asked Darren how many times I just had to just cry. You guys know I'm feeler. As I went down these paths of these little ones, and I could feel them. Ones that were stuck. Couldn't. Their wing, I saw so many wings. They were bound by chains. Our job is to realize, first of all, I put wings on my child. Or sorry, I put wings and I put chains on my child. I believed in my child, but then I had forms of dysfunction because I was taught it. If you don't know any better, you can't do better. This is not about beating yourself up. Whether you want to call it your underdeveloped self or your dark passenger, it's that part of you that needs to learn and grow. And our goal is to try and merge those two so they become friends. That's what this is about. Where we're not at war anymore inside of ourselves. We're not separate anymore. That's what they wanted. Our crystals and our starseeds, they're here to go just ooze love to us, to remind us what we're here for. And these loved ones, they get termed as oddballs. And many of their parents, they don't get their kids. They don't understand their gifts, their talents, their gifts and talents being clairvoyance and clairsentience. If you got a parent who is not online, who doesn't believe in woohoo, and the ability to see and tap into other higher energies, that's not a good environment for a starseed. They trip energy. They manipulate the environment. They can move things. They can speak to you in your mind. Wait till you meet a rainbow. Nothing said. They speak to you in your mind. It's amazing. You hold a baby and you're like, what's happening? I'm talking to you. They have the highest intuition. They can heal. They can have premonitions of danger. They astral travel. They go places. They got a world we dream of. They're channelers. They can download information from other planets, species, galactics. They remember their past lives. The starseeds are so unique. But here's the problem. A lot of them don't trust or respect their parents. So let's talk about that.
If we consider the relationship we need to develop respect in the first place, if we don't have a trusting element within that relationship, respect cannot be found or discovered. It's not actually there. So if there's no respect, there's no bridge for parents to relate to the child. It's gone. because believe it or not, the children are more capable of seeing and appreciating respect than we give them credit for. So it's important for us to now come back and repair the bridge, or continually maintain it at the very least, or break it down and build a new one, whatever the case may be. When the respect is gone, the trust, as in the res, the body of the trust. Again, we talked about that in our equity classes. The res is gone. The trust is not there. So little one will fail to respect mom and dad. And again, this becomes a problem as the little ones grow older. And I was a prolific one at expressing my disrespect for just about everything I could whenever I could do it, because I didn't see trust anywhere. I didn't. So again, the respecting is huge. Once mom and dad learn how to suggest, oh, we need to fix the trust problem here, and then the respect will flourish.
Okay, so we have actually built some slides into this. Big shout out to Kim. You know, I don't like slides. I don't do slides. So this girl showed up because we have a printout for you. This is a Starsëëd guide. We talk about, you don't have a guide for children. You now have a guide for your Starsëëd child. So thank you, Kim. We have some beautiful slides that we're going to show here so that you can see which Starsëëd you may identify with. You know what, bottom line, I just need to rip into this because there's so much for you to learn. So here, how do we identify if you or your child are an indigo, a crystal, or a rainbow child? Okay, so the first one is an indigo child. Now, an indigo child is actually the first of the Starsëëds. Okay, they are the pioneers. The largest and biggest emergence of these Starsëëds came in the 70s. And we have some generational slides we're going to show you a little bit later so you can see where you can fit into this to kind of narrow it down to which Starsëëd you might be. But they have been, indigo children have been coming in for actually since the turn of the century. So the biggest jump came in the 70s because that's when we needed to start getting crystals online, which we'll talk about soon. But Joan of Arc, perfect example of an indigo child.
Now, this is a young woman. She was about 14 years old. And however, she ran into a conflict with the authority figures. And somehow or another, she was able to raise enough awareness within a medieval setting so that the king personally made sure that she was burned to death because of her insolence, because of her disrespect for his authority, or the queen. I can't even remember if it was the king or queen, doesn't matter. Point being is that this was a pioneer way beyond her measure for that time and place in history. And this is why she has a spot in history, not in the right place at the right time, but inspired an incredible thing to come.
Indigos were designed, programmed. We talk about programming here. You came in programmed. This is part of what you chose. So you came in programmed to usher out corruption if you're an indigo. You're meant to clear the way for the crystals and the rainbows. The crystals and the rainbows, they're the sensitive ones. They're not the fighters. They're not the warriors. The indigos are the rainbows warriors. They're the ones that fight for the rainbows. A rainbow can't fight. A rainbow doesn't know how to fight. It's the indigos that have that warrior spirit. And they're called indigo because of the vibrational color and aura that they emit. And it's called a parapsychologist, believe it or not. This is a study of mental paranormal. Oh, Spirit circled that word. We have to talk about paranormal because they programmed us, but stay away from that. That's dark. It's scary. I know this because I was programmed throughout my whole religion growing up that paranormal was bad. Here's the definition of paranormal. It's events or phenomena that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding, such as clairvoyance. Now, loved ones, if you're doing any kind of meditation, you're seeing anything, you're clairvoyant. So let's just get past the fact that indigos have an ability, a paranormal ability, spiritual gifts and skills beyond the norm. Here's some other attributes and indicators. Are you ready? They're strong-willed, also known as stubborn. They're highly sensitive, though. They're inner truth detectors. They know when someone is lying, someone is manipulating, someone is talking down to them, and they trust it. Truth is an indigo's sole purpose, and they know truth by how it feels. With indigos, oh, it's hard for them to lie. It's hard for them to deceive. It's not in their nature. If you're meant to bust that corruption up, you're not the corruption itself. So doing things of corruption just don't resonate. Indigos usually get in trouble in school and in life. They don't usually care too much about money or title, but they love people. They enjoy being around people. The aligned ones, that is. And they naturally know what's right and what's wrong. But an indigo will wiggle, will actually come out of their skin, become highly uncomfortable when it comes to abusive situations, situations that are unjust, unfair, dishonest. They'll lose it. They're programmed to. Like we said, there's the system busters. And they have a non-responsiveness to controlling authority figures, especially ones they do not respect. They will have the attitude, don't tell me what to do, and you don't control me. Any indigos in the house? Yeah. So why do people have authority issues? Or I shouldn't say people. Why do indigos in specific have authority issues?
Because one of the three key elements here is missing. Maybe even two, maybe even three of the three are missing. What are the elements? This is what we're calling the Trinity. Three Trinities. The Trinity. Love, trust, and truth. Love is the result of trust and truth. Guess what? You can't get to love until you trust the bridge meant to get you there. And the truth is whether you do it or you don't.
Darren 11 verse 11.
Yeah, I came up with that one.
Literally.
Yeah, I came up with that one today.
Okay, it was 11 o'clock. And I timestamp his stuff all the time. And I was like, okay, Darren, it was 11. I'm like, what's the date? I'm like, oh, it's Darren 11. So let's just go back and read that one more time. You can't get to love this if this is the end game. We all know this. We all know as beings we're supposed to get to love. This is where we want to be. Well, you can't get to love until you until you trust the bridge meant to get you there. Okay, so now we got love, now we got trust. And the truth is whether you do it or not. So explain how that challenge came in and what that really means for.
It means to if you want to call it succeed in this life journey that we're all faced with, you got to do it. You can't just sit on your couch and expect it to get FedExed to your lap. I know technology would love that, and Bezos would probably love that ability, but you know what? You got to get up and you got to get involved. You got to take action is a military word. I don't like to use it, but you got to do. You got to participate. You got to jump into scenarios. You got to put yourself into situations that may not be completely self-evident at the moment, but you just got to trust. And it's that bridge that we cross continuously that we're starting to develop the ability to trust, because we're coming from the truth. We're actually doing it. And pretty soon you'll actually start to feel the love along the journey. And it's like a magnetic system. It just kind of sucks you along. It propels you, but you got to get going. You got to push the stone to get the momentum moving.
So we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but moving forward, if you're an indigo, you love nature, you love plants, you love animals. And you came here knowing who you are. And that's why it's important if you have an indigo child or that you are an indigo, that you celebrate your qualities. We are the square pegs. And our whole lives, they've been trying to put us into a round hole. And we were saying, I'm not round, I'm square. And they're saying, but you need to be round. And we're like, but I'm square. So indigos in the house do not conform. And indigos usually are diagnosed with ADHD. We talked about this. So let's just touch on this a little bit more. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Attention deficit. If someone has attention deficit, they need to focus on their interests. If they are hyperactive, hyperactivity disorder, that means they need an energy outlet. It's very, give them something to focus on that they love and give them an energy outlet. Teach them that. Watch what happens. Usually indigos, they need daytimers. And they like to know how to complete things, how to break the goal down, to make it into doable steps. We love checklists. And indigos love lots of love. And that's why it's very important, if you are an indigo or have an indigo child, that you eat clean, you eat natural, you eat a high vibrational diet. Now, you want a few starters, start with your water. Please try to refrain from drinking tap water. It's poisoned. They made it that way. It's free for the most part. So start with your water. Get alkaline if you can. Alkaline water is live water. At least get it cleaned out. Start with your toothpaste. Do not use fluoride, loved ones. It's meant to calcify your pineal gland. It's very simple. Coconut oil. Add some baking soda. Add pure peppermint, frankincense, whatever. Thieves, put it in there. Very simple. You have nice white teeth, I promise. Limit their dairy. Dairy is poisoned. Wheat is poisoned. Sugar is poison. We have, and again, we have little ones who are waking up in the morning and they're waking up to Frosted Flakes. Come on now. You wonder why your child's misbehaving an hour later. Can't stay in its skin. Feed it properly. We'll talk about that later. Indigo superpowers, highly intuitive. They have a strong calling to make the world a better place, especially when it comes to animals, children, and environment. That's our passions. And then whatever is currently in place, we innately know how to make things better. And they are the spirit warriors, the fighters, like I said, the rainbow warriors. They speak of these rainbow warriors coming up. It ain't the little kids. They're not meant to fight. We're meant to activate and come online to protect them, to make sure they come online. So indigo wisdoms, do not lie to them, ever. It's better to say that you're wrong or you don't know. You will destroy your trust with an indigo if you lie to them, especially repeatedly. It's done. You have a long way to catch up. Let them do what they're passionate about with little to no micromanaging or criticizing parents. Let their wings move. Let them find themselves without the pressure of the cage. And teach them ways to express themselves and to release energy in a healthy way. Indigos, we got a fire in us. Ask if I get fired up. I'm like, give me a minute. Why? Because I gotta go exercise the spiritual tools. I'm okay with that. I like my fire. I'm not trying to snuff my fire. I'm trying to manage it so I can call on it when I need it. And the reason for that is because indigos are meant to make way for the crystal children. So let's talk about crystal children. They're mostly born in the 1980s. Now, crystal children are usually the offspring of indigos. Okay, so hear that. You need 2 indigos to make a crystal. So that means if you got someone who's not a starseed and someone who is an indigo, you're going to have a cusp of a crystal. But it takes 2 indigos to make a crystal starseed. They're called crystals because they have more crystalline light in their bodies, more than indigos. Crystal children are often misdiagnosed as autistic. And why? Because of how much they're in their own worlds, in their own minds. They're like a shell. They're often very withdrawn, even rocking themselves. So crystal attributes and indicators. They are our lovers. They exude love. They ooze love. They're naturally quiet. They usually don't talk a lot. They're often labeled as antisocial, a hermit. We actually have some crystals, they label themselves as an introvert. It just means they're really sensitive. Way more than indigos. So indigos, you know how much fire, how much passion. These ones, we can't even see their graph. They feel mentally and physically on levels we're just starting to understand, or understand, I should say. And that's why many crystals suffer from allergies and sensitivities. Allergies and sensitivities from environmental factors, usually because of poisons and chemicals. Asthma and eczema are telltales. Think about it, the chemicals, what they're breathing, what they're drinking, what they're eating, what their lawn, everything is designed to poison them by design. And as long as they're sitting scratching, as long as they are peeling away, as long as they're gasping for breath, they're not online. How convenient for them. Crystals love being creative and they love expressing themselves. Arts, crafts, and painting, that's their thing. They love it. They can get lost in it. They usually have large round eyes. And when you meet a crystal, it's like they can look into your soul. They have a very penetrating gaze to them. Crystals, they love costumes. They do skits. They do plays. They love it. They don't mind doing it all by themselves, playing all the roles. And crystals love crystals. Please write that down. Crystals love crystals. Crystals, they know how to work with them. Even if they're a little confused, they can find crystals wherever they go. They gravitate to them naturally. They want to touch them. They're just fascinated. And then as soon as they touch them, what is this one? What does this one do? I used to be into I did RESPs for 20 years, registered education savings plans. I saw thousands of babies. I always wore crystals deliberately, and they'd want to be on me and touch me, and I'd put my bracelets on them, and they protect them. They're very special, magical stones. And they I just went and planted a whole bunch of crystal seeds everywhere for the crystals. because crystals, they just are fascinating. So parents, you got a crystal child, take them to a metaphysical store. And remember, you never pick a crystal picks you. Teach them that. Let them go find crystals. And crystals, they love nature, they love animals. They usually have a fondness to senior citizens. They gravitate to them. They like to talk to them. And they love music and singing. But here's the thing, they hate loud noise. They're not comfortable in noisy, overcrowded places because they suffer from sensory overload. Why? They're crystals. They pick up everyone's energy. So if it's a low vibrational energy, if it's not a good environment, if it's toxic in any way, they pack it all in and take it home. And crystals, they're natural huggers. I have a crystal girlfriend. She hugs like you. She can't hug enough. She's just and wraps all of herself around you. And they'll do that even if you just met them for the first time. They have no awareness of personal boundaries because they just feel connected to everyone. They just love to love. Crystals love to love. But here's the thing, they're only attracted to people with their hearts open. Makes them a very good judge of character. Very good judge of being. They can sniff out the actors. You'll usually know if you have a crystal child as well if they love juice. They're fruitarians. They cannot eat or drink enough fruit. They love it. And they usually don't want meat. This is a very common theme among crystals when they're little. But here's the thing, they love sugar. So don't get them hooked on the wrong sugar, moms. Give them nature's sugar. And they also don't like to sleep very much. So we've had parents trying to put crystals to sleep far too soon before their bedtimes and fighting them for hours. This is why. They're crystals. They don't need to charge as long. They're here to work, not sleep. These little crystals, they usually love to climb, have a good sense of balance. They're spontaneous and fearless. They do things without even thinking because they just assume they're safe, and they usually are. They do not understand conflict, fighting. They hate it. I don't use that word very often. Crystals hate conflict, fighting. They'll usually just break down and cry. They can't handle it. It's because of how sensitive they are. They're badly affected, hear this, by negative events in their environments, in the world. So please be mindful of what they watch and what you expose them to. Because they're so, crystals, that's what a crystal does. It soaks things in to take them from you. So if you're exposing an open vessel who has no spiritual skills or abilities or doesn't know anything about their wings, and you put them in terrifying, scary, manipulative, violent, abusive situations, they're just going to fall apart. That is not where they come from. That's not what they know. And they exude the term old soul. This is because these ones, they prefer teaching themselves what they want to learn rather than being told. And so what you want to talk of crystal superpowers. Here's the thing. Their entire life purpose is devoted to a greater universal cause. Crystals are here to heal. They know how to do it without being taught. They are the natural healers and caregivers of this world. They're the ones that are going to teach us that we don't need what we thought we needed. We have everything within us. They see angels. Crystals see angels. They see spirit very easily. They feel everything and deeply. I can't emphasize this enough. Crystals, they're just open beings that absorb everything. They can feel everything. So if there's an animal that's in pain, they feel that animal. They can feel trees, flowers, words. They can look at a picture. They get imprints. They're meant to, let's just imprint them with the right things. And because they're just so pure, they have so much light running through them. This is why they forgive the easiest out of all of us. They're naturally generous. They're always happy and confident. And I found this very interesting. Nikki Patillo, she was a former clinical microbiologist and molecular biologist. Okay, kind of knew a few things. She now works with psychic children. She noted that the main purpose of crystal children is to take us to the next level in our evolution and reveal to us our inner and higher powers. They function as a group consciousness rather than as individuals. And they live by the law of one or global oneness. They're also advocates for love and peace on this planet, and they have access to gifts of clairvoyance and healing. We're seeing that with these beautiful protests that are going on in peace, in love and kindness, leaving it better than they found it. That's got crystal all over it. And so here's some crystal wisdoms. Number one, teach your crystal how to protect their energy and not to take on others. We're going to give you those tools. Number two, introduce crystals to crystals. Introduce crystals to angels and encourage them to speak and to heal with them and to use these beings to protect them. And then number three, do not try to toughen them up or change them. This has been a big thing. Many of the boys, the crystal boys, they're soft, they're tender, they're sweet, they're gentle. And we're trying to make them into tough men and guys. Again, square peg, round hole, won't happen. It just won't. It's not, they're not programmed. So understand what you have before you. And so let's go into rainbow children. These ones are exciting. So again, just like it takes two indigos to make a crystal, it takes two crystals to make a rainbow. And this wave of rainbows, they started springing in the 2000s. Okay, so you're kind of getting an idea now of how old these rainbows are that are first coming in to this Earth school. And here's the thing about rainbows. They are only born when a world needs to evolve. Rainbows are born when a world needs to evolve. We need to evolve. And here's the thing. The oldest rainbows are roughly around 20. But many of their abilities and their attributes, we don't have a lot of information on them. And do you know why? Hang on for this one. Many are offline with autism. The dark ones designed checkpoints within their schooling system. In fact, rainbows were identified in the hospitals at birth with their blood. And it has been their mission to get as many rainbows offline as they can because they are the last of the star children. That one's going to rock some parents. It should. Think of all of the autistic children out there. Rainbow children are a scarcity right now. It's what makes them different and so incredibly valuable. And if you know my passion is med beds for the garden. And you be clear, autistic children are at the top of my list. I want to bring all the rainbows back online. So parents, if you didn't know better, and you do now, you will have the resources soon in which to bring them to a higher center near you, where you can put them back to their original state of being. And we hope you bring them. We need our rainbows back online because they are so rare right now. Rainbows only go to families where there's no drama. They choose their crystal parents very carefully. And you will know when you meet a rainbow. I met 2 babies in my experience. I had conversations with babies as I held them. They took me places. It's like time stopped. These babies, they get in your head. They mesmerize you. They completely captivate you. Like I said, rainbows, they're like crystals, so they feel, but even more than a crystal, but they like to talk a lot. They're not introverts. You can't shut them up. And they talk to the universe, and they talk to the animals, and they talk to their angels. They're talking nonstop. And telepathy, that's their thing. Moving things, that's their jam. We haven't even untapped. There are these children. They've been keeping them very quiet, though. They identified these ones and removed them very quickly. So we did not know what was fully possible. We're going to unleash all that too and bring these ones in an environment, an atmosphere where they can spread their wings and teach us in these higher centers. If I got an 8-year-old who's standing before me with bigger wings, girl, tag, teach me. I'm all ears. But here's the thing about a crystal, a rainbow. This is their first time on this planet. They have never lived here before. It's what makes them so focused. It's what allows them to defy the odds. They blow past all the programming, viruses, all the checkpoints, because they have no karma. They have no karma. Most of us come in with karmic debt. Karmic debt is from past lives where we missed it. We got to make it right in this lifetime. It's like the scales are off. That's when we make soul agreements to try and offset that. So hopefully it goes the other way on our life review at the end. But these ones, they come in with squeaky clean, nothing. They owe no one nothing. And all they want to do is just beam. It allows them to forgive. They are born with emotions of just kindness, empathy, love, forget all the good things, all the things we're aspiring to be. They're not affected by any negative emotions, life lessons, traumas. They quickly get over negative emotions. They're just on a different level. They're attached to their mission. They require little to no sleep. Little to no. Why? Because they're here to work. And so when a crystal and an indigo baby have baby, then they're on the cusp of having a rainbow. So again, you're seeing how we can kind of have children coming in who have some attributes. This is where if you get a little bit confused, okay, I have some of these and some of those, you might be a cusp starseed. So superpowers of a rainbow. They're here to save us. Oh, Nothing big. Like, hear that. They're on a mission and they know it. They know who they are. They're the highest example of our potential. They came here to realign us, to heal us, to raise our species, to get us online. And in a big way, they're fearless. They're not distracted. And I was taught that when crystals and rainbows take over, there will be no violence. Hear that. When crystals and rainbows take over, because you be clear, that's who we want in our 144. We want to stack our 144,000 with rainbows. Rainbows and crystals right here. So we're at our 1 hour mark. Now we're going to be going into how to parent a starseed to best engage their superpower. We're going to take you through different age groups, 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 13, and 14 to 18. Because here's the thing, they are all different planes of parenting and childhood. So we need to adjust our approach, our questions. We need to remember our tender years, what we were going through, so we can begin to relate instead of just pounding in what we got as kids. Okay, loved ones, we got lots to get through, so we're going to jump right in here. We're going to talk about ages 0 to 4 now. So if you got a little one in this age group, you're going to want to have a heads up. This is a precious age group. Now, again, we're talking about babies to age 4. So within this age group, 99% of the time, if you're having a baby, you're having a starseed. Again, we're not going to bring in vibrational beings that are not going to serve or be able to aid in our ascension right now. So we have more advanced beings coming in right now. That's just how it works. And so between 0 to 4, this is the ages a starseed is getting accustomed and used to the earth. It's new, literally, confines. It has no idea how things work here. It's just figuring things out. So it's going to touch. It's going to feel its surroundings. It's an explorer. And that's why actually touch and love and cuddles, absolutely critical at this age. Physical touch and love is going to help them to ground and to remain here. Because at this age, they can easily go back and forth between the spirit worlds. This is what we're meant to remember how to do. So when we touch them, when we love them, it grounds them and it makes them feel safe and warm. And at this age, they remember home. So we encourage our loved ones, if you have a little one between this age group, to ask them questions like, where were you born before this? Who was your last mummy? Where were you on earth last time? Or were you somewhere different? How many angels are around you right now? And many actually children between this age group, and there has been an issue with this, and I have to drop this piece of information. Some children between this age group, they don't believe that you're their parent. They'll actually say, you're not my mommy, at a very young age. And it's only because they get confused between their past cosmic lives. It's just all part of their calibration here. So just be patient. They'll remember. And they will often be in their own worlds. You'll see them in the corner having conversations. But this is because they can see angels. They can see our galactic family. This is what we term as imaginary friends. It's their dream world. It's heaven here. Let's be honest. Imagine being surrounded by fairies and dragons and amazing angels that just wrap their wings around you and tell you everything you need to know as you're having a tea party. How perfect. And so that's why divergence. We're bringing this in because we're trying to encourage you to speak of this world with them. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you doing with these beings? It's magical for them. Don't destroy it. Don't ruin it. This is what thickens their veil.
This is a critical moment for mom and dad to realize on an opportunity to not drop the ball. When moms and dads in the past never really paid any particular attention to a possibility like this, it was easily overlooked and dismissed. Unfortunately, that has grave consequences. So again, loved ones, it's really important that if you're not already doing that, create these environments, create those spaces, create those moments in time, and trust me, they will not be forgotten. They're not a waste of energy.
And 0 to 4, this age group often receives negative psychic attacks, and often. I have to hold this space. You need to get this, parents. These little ones, they're very connected. They're open vessels. So of course, they're going to be attacked by lower vibrations, especially when they don't have parents that are protecting them. So teach them, if you have a crystal child, how to use crystals, how to clean themselves, how to clean their spaces, their homes, your rooms, loved ones. I'm going to get you on stage soon enough. I'm going to get you on intentions where even you just go and clean your home. Every time you go out, you bring anything home. It has energy. I'll teach you to clean your food. Use essential oils like frankincense. You don't need to do the multi-level. We can get you multi-grade. It's multi-grade. It's medical grade. It does not have to cost a fortune. We will make these oils available soon enough so that you can use these high vibrational oils and teach them the importance of it. I got frankincense on me right now. Ask anyone who knows me. I am all about oils. I'm always drinking them, putting them on my body. They're an important part of connecting to Mother Earth. And here's the other thing, set intentions. When you have a baby, put a bubble of protection around him or her. Ask the angels go and put their wings, their guardian, protect my child. And you don't have to be around your child. Even if you have a situation where you only have your child half the month or 2 days a month, every day you can set intentions for your angels to go and protect your child. And say these intentions out loud for the child or the baby to hear. Let them hear that vibration. And here's the thing. As this was coming in, I am big, as you know, on intentions and prayers. And we have little prayers to share for every age group. Some age groups need their parents at first, and then we're going to actually translate it so you can hear what it might sound like through the voice of a younger one. So allow us to give you an illustration. If you have a baby and it's in its crib, you can put your hand on its heart as it's sleeping. If you're holding your child nursing, you can say this prayer. If you're a single father and your child is half around the world, you can close your eyes and connect to your baby's soul and say the following. And I think, Kim, you have that up. Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to say a baby. Sorry, rewind. Sorry, that was my fault. So I'm going to talk about a prayer that a parent would say to their child. And then we're going to translate it for a 0 to 4-year-old. So if you have a little one who doesn't even have the ability to speak, you can say, Mommy and Daddy, pray now that the angels protect Lily of any feelings and emotions or energy that is not hers, freeing her of any yucky or sad feelings, forever guiding and keeping her safe in your wings. In this we pray and thanks. And so it is. Now, once that child gets a little older, you can work with your child, alter it, make it into their own words. That's what's beautiful about this. And so this is what a 0 or a 2 to 4 year old's prayer might sound like. Dear angels, please put your wings around me and keep me warm and safe. Thank you. I love you, angels. Amen. Perfect. Do you know what angels can do with that? Can you imagine teaching your child, okay, let's say our prayer of protection before we go to school or before we go into the world. Let's put on our angel wing armor. Okay, Mom, dear angels, protect me with your wings. Protect my mommy and the dog and our rat. I love you. Like it, let them learn that. It will become second nature for them, especially at that age. So here's some Starsëëd tools for 0 to 4. Number 1, safety. Safety at this age is huge. Always reassuring verbally and telepathically that they are safe and protected. Learn to start communicating, loved ones, through your third eye. Beam them love. Speak to them through your third eye. Give them messages. That's why they look at you. And you're like, oh, aren't you so cute? Talk to them. They want to engage. They're like, oh, come on, Mom. I'm sitting here looking deeply into your eyes because I'm waiting for you to get it. So beam them love. Beam them pink. That's love. That's the color of love. Rainbows, even better. Send them images of protection. Talk to them about their angels, even if they're babies. Put your hand on their heart and go, hi, sweetheart, it's Mommy. I know you're sleeping. I want you to listen to me. Know you're always protected by the angels. Nothing harms you. And we're going to teach you all about your wings. Constantly imprinting them with those higher vibrational prayers and intentions. Teach them about fairies, unicorns, angels, mermaids, dragons, I don't care. Whatever they think is magical, whatever makes them feel protected, warm. That was a big word that you talked about today, Darren. I want to touch on that for that age group.
To consider the opposite being cold and disconnected and lonely, that's a horrible state of affairs. So let's concentrate on the opposite of those. And the result is warm, loving, safe, nurturing environment. The things that moms and dads are supposed to be providing. So if little one starts to sense that something's off, they're going to start to pay even more attention than they were ineptly tuned to do in the beginning. So see how your parenting problem is going to compound if you don't actually dial in and tune in and start to see the frequencies at play here.
And so ask your little ones when they can start speaking, how many angels do you have? How many does Mommy or Daddy have? How many does Sam the dog have? Where were you before this? Who is your last mommy? Were you here on earth or somewhere else? We're giving you the questions so you know what to ask. And we're going to have these all laid out for you so that you have the language to go to them with. So they're like, Mom just got some new skills. You're speaking a different vibration. And you wait till our queens talk about this, about their little ones and their experiences. Our hearts have just been beaming over here as these little ones do their recordings and proudly.
And just in the last 2 weeks, again, this is us
a week.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is the implementation of some of these practices and these ideologies actually manifesting and coming back. I'm already getting goosebumps. Better or just off the chart than we even thought. So again, look at the potential that's being unleashed. That's what we need to focus on.
The other thing, between 0 and 4, ground these little ones. There are tools out there where you can use grounding blankets. There's something to grounding your child to the earth. Please look into this. We'll put more information up about it. But you can actually find crystal necklaces for your child. Crystals need crystals. If you have a baby, there are teething bracelets. Teething bracelets and necklaces that just mamas love them. And again, use diffuse oils, put them on their feet, put them in their bath, lavender, the frankincense. Talk to them, ground them about, teach them, okay, we're putting all your energy now to Mother Gaia, Mother Earth. Teach your children about Mother Gaia. We have parents where their little ones are like, who's Mother Gaia? We need them to know who Mother Gaia, that's Mother's name. It's not Mother Earth. It's not Mother Planet. It's not Mother Dirt. It's Gaia. She's our mother. Make sure our little ones know her name. Use a lot of eye contact with these little ones. Make sure you get down on their level. Don't preach down to them. Get down. Speak to them. Get their attention. Physical cuddles. Love these ones. And number 3, choice. At 0 to 4, you think you need to make the choices for them, but here's the thing. They are potentially 8th dimensional beings that are stuck in this little teeny tiny body. And it's very frustrating for them. It's very uncomfortable. We talked about this. There's a lot of dysfunction and a misalignment around them. So when they get choice, because they know, it gives them an opportunity to express their knowing. So let them create that space for them. Okay, ages 5 to 9. Here we go. 5 to 9, these are the ages a starseed begins to gain perspective of who they are. They start gaining awareness of self. They start making choices. They're aware of those choices. And here's the other thing. 5 to 9, and I have spoken about this in previous classes. 5 to 9 is usually when a soul will experience its greatest life lessons, trauma and abuse. Now we had Indigos going through that. They're the fighters. This is wrong, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. Now we have crystals going through abusive situations. And here's the thing about a crystal. They attach and hold on to everything. All of it. They're crystals. They hang on to their past life memories, any traumas that they are experiencing in their current life, any danger, bullying, surgery, car accidents, fighting, dysfunctional parenting. Oh, a dysfunctional parent. They just keep holding it all. That's why usually at night, the crystal just shakes, vibrates. That's when it usually gets most in trouble. Because it needs an outlet. We'll talk about that. So parents, it's important if you have a crystal to become very aware and cognizant of what your child is going through and feeling. And if you feel there's something up, let them talk and express themselves. Our queens, you're about to hear a recording where these queens create space for their little ones. They're not micromanaging, trying to be perfect, complete the task. They just let them speak. They don't correct them. We're always on them. And they just, so they're trying to just make us happy instead of having the space of, well, if I had to explain it, which is we'll teach you meditations coming down the pipeline where you create a space where your child can speak. And here's the thing, ask yourself, what was your life like between ages 5 and 9? Just do a quick little recall. It's pretty shitty for me. I don't know about you. What limiting beliefs are we still learning and experiencing from those traumas? What have we carried over? We haven't quite figured out. What programs do we need to upgrade so you can better serve your star child? If you don't know, we've got a meditation coming up for you. Because here's the thing, also between the ages, we talk about 5 and 9, between 8 and 9, they're learning to conform, blend in, follow along. They do this by observing others and their friends. This is when they're going to start acting out, loved ones, and frequently. They're trying to figure out things, this world, this life. They're very much between 5 and 9, in between worlds. They're starting to actually realize that this 3D world, it's real. And so this is why it's going to be very important when we talk about a Starseed tool between the ages of 5 and 9, that number one, you focus on their identity to include their wings. Now, here's on this one. Teach them what it means to be in a non-structured 3D attached way. You're not your birth certificate. You're not who someone tells you to be, to believe, to feel. So let's talk about these teachings as far as belief systems and making sure they focus on the parts of them that make them special.
This is where parents are going to have to finally realize and come to grips with, to create that moment and to create that space, we really need to challenge them, not force them to do things, but open a door and make it so inviting that they want to come experience this, versus you saying this is right and this is wrong. Eat it, little one. Wrong. Again, when moms and dads ram that stuff, versus setting a little clever trail of breadcrumbs that lets the little investigator stumble onto these little discoveries on their own. You see the difference in the way you apply the teaching apparatus, the way you apply the learning mechanism. Be creative. Don't just do what they do in public schools, because that's not enough. It wasn't enough when I was in public school. That's 40 years ago. It's certainly behind the black ball now more than it ever has been. So again, with the creativeness, you don't have to invest much. Trust me here. You just got to have a spark. And then they will, in their very own independence, take that spark and go create their own fires. But don't you dare snub the spark. Leave little spark droplets for them so that they find it. And then after a while, they'll start to trust you, because they will actually see moms and dads helping them with their spark, not running after the little one with a wet blanket trying to put it out.
Speaking of that, that's why number 2, the biggest thing you can do is believe them. If you're going to laugh at them, make fun of them, please don't even start this process. You need to encourage time into them. You have to introduce them to their spiritual imagination. Talk and ask questions about their fairies or unicorns or angels or mermaids at this age. They're dragons. Ask them questions about them. And then number 3, teach your children tools for their spiritual toolbox. Give them this language so you can say, honey, we've taught you about your spiritual toolbox. I think you need to go and pull a few things out.
And this is a perfect example when Jody was mentioning earlier about when little Susie is putting her mitts on and her boots and her jacket to go out the door to face the day and walk to school for the second time. when she says that little prayer, that little warm, fuzzy, beautiful love feeling, Susie doesn't forget that. Susie will use it when she encounters darkness. She will instantly, second nature, already start to default to that because she knows it's a safe place. See how you're actually laying those breadcrumbs I was talking about. Little tools, you're actually ahead of the game here, parents. You should be ahead of the curve. Laying down some of these principles through teachings that are preparing your children in aspects for realities that we can't even comprehend, but it's actually happening. So believe in that.
They need a spiritual toolbox because they're going into Satan's world. You need a spiritual toolbox. Do you see why we talk about this? And here's the thing. These children between 5 and 9, they need methods of releasing energy. That is crucial. And this is why we have meditations of many kinds coming out right now. I'm sorry, I didn't get the teenager one. Don't worry, it's coming there, he told me. It'll come when it's meant to come. This needs to come through first. We have meditations that you can do with your children. You can teach them. We have breathing courses where you're going to hear how our queens teach their little ones to do their breathing. They come to their mummies and go, "Mommy, I have butterflies in my tummy. I have to go do my breathing. And my ears are ringing. My angels need to talk to me." Like, are you kidding? This is going to change your world. And that's why art healing, not therapy, art healing is highly encouraged. Let them draw. Give them an outlet to focus on and encourage it. Whatever they want, however big they want to draw it, paint it, doesn't matter.
And this is not to say that moms and dads should not be participating in these events. Of course they should be. When you're asking of your little one to draw and paint, you do it once in a while too, so that they can have something to compare themselves to. That's the sounding board. That's where they find these grounding points. So that's just another element that they can share with mom and dad. Mom walks by and puts her drawing on the fridge and doesn't say a word. You don't think little Susie's going to be there eating her fruit, looking at the image, memorizing everything? See how consumed see how you've captured little Susie's attention for just a moment at the very least.
And we talk about teaching by example. Imagine a little 7-year-old or 6-year-old watching his mummy's putting dried flowers in a bath and essential oils and crystals and putting her book and lighting candles. What are you doing, Mommy? Mommy's going to be doing a meditation for the full moon. What's that?
How do I get one?
And then going, okay, well, and please, mummies, you don't bring them into your space. You teach them, this is mummy's. I'm going to do this first. And then afterwards, we'll run your own bath. In the meantime, you go find your own crystals that you want and the oils you want to put in there. And you go start collecting your angels. Do you see how bedtime can turn into a whole different space?
Yeah, bedtime and bath time doesn't have to be traumatic anymore.
They'll look forward to, and they'll be, by the end of it, nighty night. So teaching them these kinds of things. When we talk about, hear me on this one. I had a little one, and I was so glad I learned this teaching. Your right side represents your soul. The left side represents your underdeveloped soul, the part of you that came here with amnesia. It's not a separate part of you. That's very important to understand. It's about merging them, not silencing them, it's making peace with both of them. That's what we are encouraging here, not for one to dominate the other. It's not about soul dominating the part that came here with amnesia. No, it's about the part that knows, teaching the part that doesn't know. And so the right side is very powerful, loved ones. So when you teach your little ones to look in someone's right eye, this was big for me, being a feeler. Because when I look back and forth, I connect with them And then I'd feel things, and then I'd connect with them, and then my tummy would turn because I was fluctuating back and forth between the part of them that knew to the part of them that didn't know. So I was taught this, and I had a client bring their 8-year-old who, when I opened the door, was in a ball, crying and weeping. And she's looking at me crying, going, she knew he was so highly sensitive, he couldn't leave the house. And she had to bring him here for me to teach him a few things. And intuitively, I just went down. I said, hi, I know you've never met me, but I think you're going to remember me. And when you lift your head, I'm going to ask you to look in the eye that I'm pointing to. It's going to make you feel better, I promise. And so as he wept, he lifted, because they trust, especially when they hear an energy they resonate with. And he lifted his eye or his head and looked me in the right eye. And he instantly stopped crying. I said, right here, sweetheart. Don't look me here, just right here. This is where you look at people. And he instantly stood up. The mother was like, what's happening right now? She's like, I've been struggling trying to get him here. And she looks at him. She was like, are you okay to go with her? And he looks at her and goes, yes, Mom. That quickly, because I was setting intentions for this little one. I was creating I knew I had someone coming. I had a rainbow coming. I took this little one outside, and he looked at me. And he looked at me. I had his blanket outside, a big sea of trees, sun was shining. It was a beautiful healing day. And this little one sat across from me. I knew I was totally out of my league, but I was showing up. I was starting to speak a language going, I know this is new for you, but I know you see things. I know you feel things. I know that tree has an energy. I know you believe in angels. And all of a sudden he starts looking off to my side here. And I start to the point where I'm like, what are you looking at? He's like, the angel that's beside you. Anyone who knows me knows I have a highly expressive face. So I'm just trying to keep my face together as I'm doing this healing with this beautiful rainbow. And I said, of course you are. What is the angel saying? That I can trust you. That I'm supposed to listen to you right now. You talk about showing up when you need to for a rainbow or a crystal. That little boy, Leo, he went and turned into a new little boy. He'd open doors, his mother said, for family dinners. Always looking in the right eye, he said. Always. I never look in the left. And I taught him how you can heal with your hands. I'm like, do you feel things in your hands? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, let's make a ball. And he's like, okay. I'm like, do you feel the ball? He's like, yeah. And don't let them be like, because they know. They're waiting for us to catch up. Throw energy balls back and forth to your child. Try that. And then say, now put that into your heart. So powerful. Teach your children to look in people's right eye. Teach them the power of their angels, how to meet them, how to say prayers, set intentions, how to protect with your angels. Show them different ways to clear their body of spaces and unwanted energy. When they go to school and a shitty day happens, they can come home, drop their bag, light a candle, start clearing themselves with incense, run a bath, start pulling their crystals, making a grid. And then wait till the rainbows and crystals teach us things that I don't even know yet to teach you. All I know is we got to get them back to this, back to the power of Mother Earth. Parents, start wearing crystals. Watch what that does for you. Watch how your children gravitate. They just touch it. I want to wear this. Then they're going to want their own. Take them. Let them wear them as much as possible. Adore them with crystals. Put them in their room. Ask them, do you want to go and pick out a crystal today? Is a crystal calling you? Yeah, Mommy. Is it? One or two? Yeah, two, for sure. Let them. But do you see how you do the choice? Okay, well, we have to clear our energy. We can't be going and picking a crystal if we're dirty. Okay, come on. Grab Mommy's hand. Grab Daddy's hand. Grab Mommy and Daddy's hand. Whole family going crystal hunting. Clearing your energy, charging with love and light. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Teach them about sage, essential oils. We talked about connecting to Mother Earth. This is when you're going to start introducing her, or him or her, to Mother Earth, bringing your energy down. We got meditations that are starting to do that. And this is where I got to introduce one of my queens. My queen, Ravina, has had an amazing experience with her daughter. And I'm going to hand over the mic because her experience in this recording speaks for itself.
So it was like, and I said, but how do you know what needs to happen? And he said, you need to know what's happening to know what that came out wrong.
It's okay.
He said, you need to know what's happening.
Okay.
Like, to not, like, give up. To, like, keep trying and not to, like, say, okay, this is impossible. I'm not doing this anymore. I quit. But just to enjoy the challenge.
Okay.
Not to, like, say, okay, not thinking about if it's not enjoyable or not. Just think about what you're doing and then you'll enjoy it. And I was like, but if you think about what you're doing, how will you know that you enjoyed it? Because he said that that if you wouldn't think about enjoying it or not, then your mind, if you think if it's not, is it enjoyable or not, then your mind will, like, it will like, oh, is this, or do I want to play something else? Like, if you think about something for too long, like, is it enjoyable or not, your mind will say, yeah, let's play something different. Let's do something different.
So it's like you'll miss it.
Yeah, like you'll miss the opportunity to do it.
Okay. And what else did they say? How, is your earring still ringing, sweetheart?
A little bit, but lightly.
Would you like to go down? Okay.
Yes.
How did you go?
He said to come.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, but how does it come? He said, let things come to you. Don't come to them. Let them come to you.
Okay.
When I was like, but if you don't go to it or whatever it is, how would it come to you? Because he said, because when you know when it's ready, if you're not ready and you come to it, you won't understand what it's speaking.
Wow.
But if you let it come to you, you'll understand what it's talking about. Because it like takes time to understand. And, well, I've been having watery eyes since this morning.
Oh, okay.
Somehow. Why?
Yeah.
And so if you come to them, like, okay, I was like, I have no clue what this thing is talking about, so goodbye. So if you let it come to you, you'll actually be interested because you've learned a lot of things while it hasn't been coming to you. And I was like, but how do you want to, shouldn't you learn more earlier than later? And he said, sometimes it's better to learn later because you'll understand what you're learning to learn sooner.
So it is like he's saying that the thing will come to you when you are ready to understand them.
Yeah, like if
Okay.
I want to do something
Mm-hmm.
and I want to achieve it, like do it now, like don't like achieve it right now at this moment, at this second, right this minute. And if I do it, I might not even understand if someone's trying to help me what they're doing because I'm not ready to understand it.
That's a very, very profound teaching, sweetheart.
I know.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow. It's so beautiful connecting to source, isn't it?
Yes. Now I know what to do today.
So how is your ears feeling right now?
Just like it was like beep, 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 beep.
Still going?
A little bit.
Okay.
I think I should keep going. This is a very long message, by the way. Like, it's like, I think this is going to be like, hello, I'm still talking to you over here.
Yes, that's what it is.
Like, I'm going to forget what I'm about to say if you don't hurry up.
Okay.
So I better do that.
Okay,
I don't want to.
forget. Yes, keep going. Okay.
So he said, be happy. And and I'm like, how do I become happy when from a sad emotion?
Mm-hmm.
An upset emotion, he said, to not think about that you're upset, just to do something to just, if you don't think about that you're upset, you'll just be happy. But if you keep focusing on the negative, you'll never be positive. If you keep thinking, like, let's say, hurting myself, like, to pretend I broke my ankle. First thing that came to my head.
Okay.
And he said, no, and then after it healed, after, like, as long as it needed to heal, not to keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like to saying, oh no, what if this happens again? And if you keep thinking about it, your intention will go to your ankle or whatever you hurt yourself, and then it'll make it happen again. And the more you think about something, hoping it won't happen, it's going to happen.
Oh.
But if you just focus on the positive and be happy and glad that it's healed,
Okay.
it won't come to again because you won't do it again because you'll be happy and not focused about, oh no, what if I break my leg this time?
Okay.
And to be just excited that something has gone amazingly for you. Not to be like, ugh, okay, now it's healed. Now what do I do? What if it happens again? Great. And then if you keep thinking about that, oh, is it going to happen? Oh boy. And you keep getting worried and worried and worried, you'll keep thinking it's going to happen, and out of one day, it's going to happen again.
That's... Wow.
Yeah, I don't think you have any words for what I just said.
I don't have exactly. I'm very impressed, sweetheart. How does that feel for you? Like
Very-
all these teachings and all these learnings that's
I
coming
feel
to you.
very intelligent now.
Very wise.
Yes. Wait, what is the difference between intelligent and wise? Because I think they're just the same thing.
Yes, good question. Sometimes intelligence come
From
from
knowledge,
from learning.
from
Yeah.
learning, but if you're wise, you'll know what decisions to make. But if you're on your knowledge, you'll just be stuck on that decision because you don't know what this is. But if you're wise, you will know what it is because, let's say, you've been taught not to use a knife. And if you're wise, if you need to use a knife, then you'll use it. But when you're knowledge, you won't use it because it's like programmed in your head that knives are dangerous.
Mhm.
And when you're older, you can't even use a knife because you've been thinking that knives are so dangerous because of your knowledge and people have taught you that. Then you'll never learn anything,
Mhm.
anything new. You'll just be stuck on like, okay, I can't do this, but I can do that.
Yeah.
And if you're wise, you're like, okay, I can use a knife. Just be careful. That's the only thing you need to do while using something dangerous.
Mm.
Like to just enjoy that you're learning something different and new.
Mm.
How did I know that you were just explaining that and I took it off?
I actually think for that you explain it better probably than I would have done
Thank
it.
you. And by the way, when I said knife, that was the first thing that came to my
It's
head.
okay.
Like, actually, this is real. When I cut my finger,
Mhm.
after that, I was like, okay, I cut my finger. Next time, be careful. I wasn't thinking about, oh no, what if I do it again? What if I do it again?
Yeah.
I just am careful around knives and keep a far distance if they're very sharp.
Mm.
Yeah.
I actually laughed again as listening to her. So beautiful, and she's 8. She's 8 years old. So I learned so much from her. It's amazing. It's amazing. So thank you for sharing that as well. Putting this on record.
We love watching her wings, so thank you. Okay, so here's a preteen prayer. If you want to teach this to your loved ones, your little ones between ages 5 and 9. Now, Kim, I'm just going to get you to back up this one there, honey. So if you are a parent and you want to say this for your child, you can say, and we will have these ones. We just did the ones that your children will say. So to all the angels. So close your eyes, parents, and imagine saying this to your 5 to 9-year-olds. To all the angels and beings of the light, we ask that Lucas be free and cleared of any energy that is not his, that it be returned back to its rightful owner, and that he always knows how special and perfect he is, forever protected and guided by his angels. In this we pray and ask, and so it is. Imagine just Lucas, Sam, Sarah, Annabelle, doesn't matter. Come here. And you just putting your hands on top of their crown and giving them this blessing. Imagine how different their day's gonna be. It has to be. Now, you got a 5 to 9-year-old. This is what their prayer might sound like. You ready? It's gonna be cute. Here we go. Kim, thank you. To my magical unicorn, Annabelle, I ask that you free and clear me of any energy that is not mine, returning it back to where it came, and that I always know how special and perfect I am, just as I am, forever protected and guided by my unicorn. Thank you, love, Lily. Let them use their name. Let them write out their prayer. How do you want to say? Change their prayer. Connect with your child. Okay. Do your angels want to update your prayer? Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Table, big surprise. So we're going to move now to ages 10 to 13. Here we go. We're going to rip through this a little bit more quicker just to lay a little bit more track. Ages 10 to 13. This is the ages a starseed will want to fit in and conform. 100% normal. This is what most of your fights and your issues are going to be around. They're going to show strong resistance to you as a parent. Get ready. Why? Because they're searching for answers. And here's the thing. Most of them, they don't want it from you. You're not their source. You are not where they want to learn it. It's no different than when you're in a relationship with someone and you feel it's your duty and job to teach your lover everything you're learning about spirituality. No, you're not their teacher. You're not their lover and their teacher. It's just, it usually, maybe a little bit, not primary. So allow them to learn and do not make them conform and listen to you and try and beat it into them. It will not go good. Abort, pull the chute. So here's some Starseed tools for 10 to 13. Number one, again, focus on outlets. What is your child like? Maybe 1 year it's ballet. Then she wants to do soccer. Then she wants to do art. Let them change what they want to be. Encourage them to discover themselves through different outlets, different forms of expression. They are wanting to develop their uniqueness. Hear that. Between 10 to 13, they're trying to figure out who they are. So let them, and then listen to them. They're not supposed to be little yous. In fact, the more different they are from you, the more aligned they're, more than likely. They'll teach you how to get into alignment. And listen to them undividedly with no limits. We don't like the word unconditionally. We're getting rid of that. No limits. That's what we call it. So when you show up for this age group, show up. Don't come in with an empty cup. Come in valuing your time with this age group. Because it's all about presenting proof that you support them. They can feel if you're just doing this because you're supposed to, it's a fad, or if you actually mean it, you actually give a shit about them, you care, you love them. They're looking for this is what the connection. And most parents, they barely love themselves. They have an empty cup. They're barely getting by, trying to just survive. We get it. This is not about chastising you. It's not about beating you up. This is about helping us lift our heads from the game a little bit. This Satan monopoly distraction game. And going, let's just take an inventory. Let's just slow this down. Let's just, let me just, as a father, take a energetic inventory of my family's ascension love meter. Where are we? As a mother, how's my family do? They wouldn't, did you see that? They won't even let me talk about anything outside of a mother other than mother herself. That was a big teaching they circled about doing a bath, because they showed me that many mothers would go, come in, or I'll let you in the end when I've let go of all my shit in the bath. Please don't. This is our point. Teach your children, especially your little girls. This is my space. This is what I need to do for me so I can be better for you. This is how mommy fills her cup so she doesn't get upset and lose her shit. So moving on. This is when the Trinity. Trinities. I'm still getting used to that new word. Trinities come in. So number 2, moving forward, speak to them as adults. They're well beyond their years. They have a lot of wisdom. Treat them as such. When I was little, I was taught children are seen and not heard. That's what I was taught. How many can relate to that? Children ate last, where I came from. Just saw a bunch of hands go up. Can you feel the dysfunction in that? Because I know when I was little, watching all these misaligned beings eating before me, it was bullshit. That's the indigo. More than likely, anyone who rose their hand is an indigo. The more experiences you had of injustice, you're an indigo. So speak to them as adults. Educate them as you wish you were, but let them still be kids. It's a delicate balance. If you're tuned, you'll know. Number 3, hold back on spirituality. We said it. This is a very delicate age group. Do not push spirituality unless they're into it. Why do we say this? Because they already have a natural resistance to you. They're wanting to break away and figure out things on their own. So don't push, don't preach, don't shove it down their throat. You're going to foster resentment. You're going to spiritually trespass. So let them call you crazy. Let them tell their friends as their friends are walking into your home. Okay, careful. My mom might come around you and sage you. Or my dad, yeah, he's into woohoo. Just ignore him if he's doing his cards. We got crystals being born. If they see cards, they see sage, they see crystals, any of that, they're going to be, what are you doing? Kim will talk about that in a minute. She's got a 13-year-old, packs of 13-year-olds. In fact, the more she stands in it, the more her son stands in it and defends it as normal and smacks his friends if they think different. So be careful with this age group. They're watching you. This is why we say stay in your own lane. Learn in your own lane. Even as parents, as spouses, everything. Do you. Just let them see you. As soon as we start preaching, it goes sideways.
Children will learn confidence from mom and dad if mom and dad are displaying confidence.
Kim, we have little Easton, and he's got a special place in my heart. This is a wise being, and I love how much he's teaching you right now. So I'm going to pass the mic. If you can please explain the experience that you did with a soul meditation. So can you please explain to our loved ones exactly what that was and what happened?
Yes, so we will be teaching you guys about this later, but it was a beautiful thing that came from Queen School. And we were to call our child and do them individually, their soul forward in a meditation, just you and their soul. And it was very important that we went in clear and charged, and we had questions that we wanted to ask them. So when I did this, to be honest, I had no expectations. And we talk about seeing, it didn't take a moment. He was right there. And he was, I have goosebumps, the tallest, most beautiful light being. And the energy was wise. There was no, I am who I am too. There was no 3D labels. It was soul to soul. And we only spoke, and he's very into this right now. He's like, how do I do this? How do I move things without touching them? And it was very quick, but very certain. he said, basically, I don't need you to teach me anything. And this was so humbling. But it's something that he was telling me from a place of, I know you already know this. I'm just reminding you because I remember it more than you. And oh, my heart is beating very much. And I watched him in awe. I was really in awe. And I could feel the energy from his soul. Literally, I could tap into moments in our everyday lives where I felt that from him. And it was really, really beautiful. He said, and I said, okay, well, what do you want me to tell parents? And he literally didn't say much. He's like, you already know. He's like, I teach you every day. And that boy, that young man, that soul holds me in my space like you wouldn't believe. If I'm offline, he literally, I won't see him. He just spends the night at other place. The minute I come back on, I shit you not, the minute he's at my door, what are you doing? And he will not leave the space. And this meditation just made me really love him on a soul level. And my biggest takeaway was, I'm not here as his mom or stepmom. We are here together. The way I felt it was, oh, we have a big mission together. And in the meditation, he just expected me to know that. He's like, we're here for a reason. Let's go. There was no fluff about it. And that was it. And then the next time I tried to go back, so I'm like, oh, I feel like I should have more answers. No, he no-showed me, which is very typical because he already told me what he needed to, just like in everyday life, and he was moving on. So I want to go briefly because I'll do another recording about this, but here's how, when I started showing up online, finding crystals and really studying, he naturally merged. He would come in and he would touch every single crystal, whether I had told him I bought it or not. And I was like a closet crystaller. Like I kept things, like closet carter, and because when Jody says there's packs of kids, literally just hordes of children would come in. And Easton wasn't embarrassed. Like, I was like, oh, he's going to be embarrassed. He wasn't. He's like, oh, look, that. But then something shifted. As his friends changed, he changed a little bit. And in the beginning, I will admit, I didn't do the best. But when I had an amazing teacher, Jody, literally put one of these hoarded children, literally quite like this, in his place, I was like, oh shit, I should do that. And after that, I did explain to Easton that I said, you know how I like some of your friends and I don't, and I said it just like that. He's like, yeah, I know. I was like, okay. Energetically, there's something off. And with this specific friend, I'm like, where's he been? He's like, he wasn't a very good kid. I'm like, oh. And I asked him why. And I was very, very mindful to not lead, to not try to force a situation, and to not say, I told you so. I was very mindful of that. And he's like, I didn't really like his energy. And I said, okay, how did he make you feel? And keep in mind, Easton is 13. He's definitely hit that I'm cool phase, but I also want to hang out with you all the time. And so I said, okay. And Easton has always been what is fair and being kind. And as even building these courses, I was learning so much about him, and I just loved him more and more for who he is. And he is literally my greatest teacher. And he's there for me, not the other way around. So I have a lot more, but I'll do a recording later about this because it deserves the time and space.
And speaking of recordings, we hope many of you do this because we're going to give these meditations to you so you can go and connect with your little one's higher self. It's coming. So here's real quick, we're going to do a little break, but just before that, 10 to 13, this is a tween's prayer. Feel this. Okay, because we're showing you this because the parents now should have taught this tween how to do their own prayer. To all the angels and the helpers of the light, please help me clear myself of any energy that is not mine, returning it back to the sender. Fill my whole body with the angel's crystal light, so I'm always clean and happy. And that I always believe in my wings and who I am, knowing that my angels are here to help guide and direct me for my greatest and highest good. In this I pray and ask. Oh, sorry. In this I pray and give thanks. Amen. So again, you're starting to see that this might be a 10 to 13-year-old prayer, but maybe this might be one you want to take. Now, loved ones, we are going through this as quickly as we can. We know it's thick. We know it's heavy. If you have to go, that's fine. We got to get it on the record. We also know it's at the 1 hour break. Out of respect for your bladders, we will take a 5-minute break. I think that rhymed.